Want him to be in the video.
Okay, good. Okay, so this hydrant feeds your tank here, your water tank that is being sump pumped up into your evaporative cooling system. So this whole thing here, you have to watch out, make sure there's no leaks. But this thing, when it's operating, it needs to be on. I don't like to put it on too high of a setting because I just, just pressures and hoses and everything. But just to the point where you can hear it running. You want this on all the time. So because if you let this go for even just a day, it will run, this whole 100-gallon tank will run out of water. You'll actually evap that much water out of here. So anyways, when that's running, this is on. You can check in here to make sure that your levels are right. That little, it's just like your toilet, that little floating valve is what's going to turn the water off, so it doesn't overflow. But it's always good to keep just keep monitoring all this when you walk in, kind of do your checks and make sure that there's no leaks. Nothing is too crazy looking. At some point, this evap system, I think some research should be done and see how long these are supposed to last, because these have been here for probably over 10 years. It seems to me like this stuff probably needs to be replaced.
Like if it has too much gunk on it, maybe it doesn't absorb.
Yes, and that's part of what's going on. But the other part of the problem, and Kevin will have to get someone out here again, is up in here. You can kind of see this is where the water is getting pumped through and where it should be dripping. Now you see it's not dripping here, so you probably have a clog in here. Like it probably has some stones and dirt, and it's probably not reaching the whole way. Kevin had to do that last year and clean it out, and that did help. But I still have had some cardboard problems where it's not absorbing everything. So
okay.
But these I know are very pricey, but at some point, that they might want to look at that. If you guys are in here a lot, that's going to help the system out perform a little bit better. Your electric box, if you need to turn everything off, like when we were out here today and you want to cook everything, I guess we could just do the master switch and kill everything. But always get a check, make sure no breakers are off, because then you might not have a plug working. Come on over here, and this is your thermostat control, and basically works by a select button. So if I push the select button, first one I land on is going to be heat sensor. I've never used the heat sensor. It doesn't mean that you guys won't, but in the corner, back over in the corner, we'll walk over there in a second. In the corner, that's your heat, and it's piped into some 100-gallon propane tank. That, in my experience, having tried it, the company can't come out and fill it fast enough to meet your needs when you have those tail ends of the seasons and you're trying to start plants. So this... Okay,
so just for the video watchers, the heater is hanging from the ceiling.
Yes.
It's that metal box.
Yes. Okay. And I'll go over the switch just to show you how that's turned off, and that's not an issue. So this really doesn't matter what it's set to, because it's not going to turn on. So go select again too. Oh, and this is... Okay, let me back up. So... Number one, heat sensor, when you land on number one and you select again, it'll tell you your heat differential. This is kind of the range you want to keep it in. So like you're saying, I want it to maintain 54. That means like plus or minus 2 from what I understand. This is that heat differential. So that's just a cue for when to kick back on. So if it goes to 54, it goes to 52, then it'll kick on to bring it back to 54, So sensor number 2, this first one, I just kind of arbitrarily set these, and you can think about the environment you want to create depending on the plants you're growing and what kind of goals you want to hit. But I do this, I think, the right way, although I could be wrong. But so this sensor number 2 is the first set of fans that's supposed to, or the first fan that's supposed to kick on. What that does is it's going to open this top vent up here.
Okay.
Or it should, and actually it's funny that vent is not open right now. But actually it should open that vent up, and that wall fan will come on too. So you're going to have like a little bit of ventilation going on as a first step. As a second step, I put in here also 70 degrees. You want to maintain 70 degrees. That second fan comes on, and you can't really see it, but then this will open up your vents on the outside here. So the outside of this is going to open up.
Oh, okay.
That's before the pump turns on. And then now you get over to step number 4, and I put 80 degrees, but we could lower that, say, to 75. Say, if the fans aren't working and it's not cooling down, and you want to bring it, we need to rein it back in, we can select 75. But when you adjust these, Then you have to push enter, and then select, and that's what'll kick it on.
Okay, and so you just check it by rolling through the selects again.
You just roll through the selects, you know.
And then that last zone 4.
That's the pump. That's what's going to kick on the pump. And that's going to be obviously the most resource and energy intensive step. So think about
what's the pump going to do? What's it pumping?
So that pump's going to that's your sump pump to turn on the water.
Oh, okay,
to come
that
into
pump.
This wall, you know. So yeah, and you just think about that. You're like, if I don't want to spend extra money, maybe 80 degrees, maybe 85. You know what I mean? You can get away with a range. And I don't know, I can't even remember what I set mine to, but it's just something to consider if you feel like utilities are eating into your budget too much.
So when when you open this, when you open the valve, it turns this on, quote unquote. There's no on switch. It just fills up the basin.
Right, just
and
like a toilet
then this
bowl.
Starts dripping.
Yep.
But this is almost like second line of defense. So you leave this temperature higher than the fan temperature because it's less electricity to run the fans.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and also this water's not coming off their well, right? They're paying for this water.
Right, that's city water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's piped in. So you will get billed for that. They have a way.
Wait, do you pay that?
I did when I did when I had the grant, when I was in here.
Okay, because they have not. We haven't signed it.
Well, they might.
Okay, let's go to the fan.
Again, this is the propane. You can go out, you can actually see the propane tank that's outside that it's fed from. It's that white tank. I think it's a 100-gallon tank. But basically, if you ever wanted to use it, you would just need to turn the furnace on. This is the fan. This is the fan electricity here. But this furnace switch, you'd have to turn that on, and if you ever wanted to use it, you'd actually have to bleed the line to let the gas flow through here, and it's actually kind of annoying. We've had to actually open the line and let it bleed. So it's a little more involved than just turning it on and flicking a switch. It needs to get like the pilot lit and all that. So if it is something you want to use, it's probably a project to get it tied into like natural gas at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the major one.
And so now
this one should be turning on, and I don't know why.
There's some electrical disconnect.
Yeah, and would be the fan switch here, and I don't know what is going on. Why that's not kicking on. So we need to figure out. You know, Kevin needs to send somebody out.
Okay.
Because this should be on. You know.
All right, I'm turning this up.